The Echoing Green Fellowship application process is a competitive one. Expressing yourself clearly and concisely within the application can greatly improve your chances. In this video, we'll give you some tips on how to best communicate your idea in our application. One of the reasons that many applications are rejected is due to a lack of clarity. So one of the most important tips we can give is to keep it simple. Don't be too complex in your answers, and do your best to avoid jargon that doesn't add something to what you're writing. Break things down for us into the simplest of terms. What are you trying to accomplish? How will you accomplish it? And explain your project in a way that a 10-year-old could understand. Think about which components of your program are absolutely necessary to include and communicate those components in a way that's easily understandable. So clarity also means being specific, and vagueness isn't going to help us understand your idea for social change. General overviews can be helpful, but details help us fully appreciate what it is you're going to do and what your daily operations of your organization are going to look like. And sometimes the only way to really explain something is to provide a concrete example. So, for example, in question 4 of our application, which asks about the products and programs of your organization, you might want to think through a single member of the population you serve and tell us how they'll experience your organization to give us an example of what exactly it's going to look like. There's another question in the application that asks about resiliency, and so it might be helpful there to give specific examples of times in your life when you've overcome adversity. And on examples, using direct evidence like statistics can also be really helpful to clarify a point. So for example, saying there's a food shortage in region X is not as clear as saying 70% of children under age 5 are malnourished in region X. Giving direct examples with statistics attached can really put some meat on the bones of what you're writing. But being clear on its own isn't enough. We also want you to write concisely. So there's pretty strict character limits in our application. We want you to use that space as best you can. So some tips for that. Stay on topic is one of the most important things. Avoid tangents and don't stray away from the call of the question. Really focus in on what it is you're being asked. Be specific. Again, being specific and to the point is one of the most helpful things you can do. Avoid generalities. They not only aren't clear, but they waste valuable characters and they just don't add much to your application. And then you want to avoid being redundant. Sometimes it might feel like reiterating a point could be really helpful, but it often is just a waste of space. Then you could have used that space to more thoroughly answer the question asked. So here's an example of a clearly constructed answer to the first question of our application from 2012 Echoing Green Fellow Sarah Bilal of Justice Project Pakistan. And so here in this example, she's focused and concise. She tells you who she's going to be serving. So she says vulnerable prisoners facing the death penalty and other harsh punishment. And she tells you what she's going to be doing. She's going to be representing them in courts of law. She successfully avoids generalities and keeps it simple while communicating effectively. Here's a fictional example of a one-sentence summary to that answer to that same question. So this one's much less clear. It uses vagaries, and it doesn't really communicate to us what the organization does. So for example, the phrase here, will be fostered, doesn't really give us a clear sense of what the programs actually are or how they're going to improve personal health and collective well-being. So the vague language here uses up space that could have been used to give us some more specifics about what this organization is really going to do. One of the most important tips we can give you for writing clearly and concisely is to spend time on proofreading. It's one of the best ways to improve your application. So every sentence in your application should have a purpose. a clear purpose. And we want you to critically examine every sentence and ask yourself whether it's necessary to communicate the idea that you're trying to get across. And that can be a painful process, especially since you probably worked pretty hard on that first draft, but it will undoubtedly strengthen your application. Sometimes when you spend a lot of time working on something, you get a little bit too close to it and you have a hard time objectively proofreading it. So have someone who knows nothing about your organization read for coherence and clarity. And then after they read through it and give you some tips, ask them to explain back to you what your idea is and what they understood to make sure that they really got it. If possible, it's also great to have an expert read for feasibility, logic, and persuasion, in addition to having someone read for coherence and clarity. And lastly, leave yourself plenty of time to do revising. Strong applicants give themselves time to thoroughly think through their ideas, as well as proofread, edit, make revisions, think about content, and think about language. So don't wait until the last minute to start your application. So if you want to become an Echoing Green Fellow, here are some next steps. First, you can sign up for our email list that will tell you about upcoming things with the application cycle for 2013. You can start on the essays questions. Online, we have those essay questions posted, and you can start working on them in a Word document so you can get your answers where you want them to be before you put them into the online application. We also have a bunch of other materials up there, some videos, some interviews with current fellows, and an application guide that walks you through step by step what we're looking for in each question. And then lastly, you can begin your application online December 4th. And here's a timeline that walks through the application, phase 1, onto the semifinal round, and then culminating with finalist weekend in May of 2013.